Hello, we are live. Let me know if you can hear me and everything looks good. Today we will be animating this. I can hear me, definitely. So, today we will be animating this character, this background. I have already cut it into pieces. I found this background from internet and yeah, I will post information about the artist in the description. I don't remember right now. Recording of the stream will be available if I don't fail too much. If it is useful, I will definitely save it. So I have done the cutting. Most of the will be doing some minor stuff here. And I did save stream for that cutting. We'll also post that in the description. I also made an assignment for everyone who has free time. Not this one. Yeah, anyway, I'll post that link also in the description, so you can grab the assignment, take the PSD, and maybe do it yourself. Feel free to ask any questions, send me an email about it. Okay. So what I miss cutting here, I would go and cut this portion, these sea waves. I do understand that those are sea waves, and one layer is not enough for me. I would go and separate it into 3 more layers. So let's hide it. Let's take 3 layers. This middle section. And maybe this part. Cool. I will also leave the main splash. Maybe I will also use it, but that will be clear in the while I animate. So let me clean the edges. I don't want to make it ideally clean and neat as final product. The main idea is to show how to use VFX. I mean, I will go fast while cutting and maybe modifying, deforming meshes, but you will get the idea how to do it yourself. Maybe I will go and add too many details on the vertices without thinking about the optimization. Okay, There is also another problem here with the sky. I made a hole to avoid masking it in the spine, but that creates another problem which I will solve later. I don't want to go into working in PSD today too much, but we will need to move the sky behind everything, left or right or somehow, and for that we won't be able to do it with this setup. So I will have to deal with this problem later if we want to move slowly the sky behind, which I am definitely going to do. And right now I want to do last two things. The first one would be to set the position for export, which doesn't matter right now. I mean, anyway, where this is just for educational purposes. We don't have game to implement it. So I will go and put it in the middle, I guess, somewhere. It should snap somewhere here, but it doesn't. So let's put it here. Oh, okay, here's the snap. So for that, I will create two guides that will save in this session of the Photoshop file. And after that only I will set the original file, which origin point, which you can drag from here and put that it will snap into the places. If you don't have the guides, next time you open, you won't be able to export exactly at the same place. You need to drag again, which you won't be able to do precisely, I guess. So right now I know that this is the point. And the last one I want to do is to go over the files which I want to export in smaller size. The overall file is super big. You can see 7,000 pixels. I would actually go and reduce it in size here, because I would assume that no game would run this kind of big image. If it does, I would keep it this way. But right now, I think we can go with yeah, maybe 2000. I don't want to lose the original file though, so I will save it as small version. And we'll export from here. So right now, I need to go over all the pieces that I think that might be, that could be smaller in the spine, and add a scale tag to it. Let's see. So this is going to be ignored. Maybe this. You know what, actually let's leave it, just so you know, if some parts are smaller, blurry, etc., you just go here and add a scale tag to it with a value. So let's say 0.8. This will make sure that this cliff image will be smaller. So let's do the same for the background. It's just for showing you how to do it. I don't care about it right now. So let's export it now. I have the PSD saved in the project directory, so I will just need to export it and the files will come over right here. I already exported once to make sure that we don't have problems when I share the PSD file. Okay, now let's import it into Spine. So I'm waiting for JSON to be generated here. And it will be here, I guess, yeah. So let's open the Spine. We need this one. Oh, we have a new version of Spine. Small version. I will check it later what we have new. Cool. Right away you can drag the JSON file here. Select a new project and let's call it portal. The project has been created. We just need to close the launch screen, and we have it. We have it incorrectly placed, which is because I resized after I set the position. So right now I will go do it again. Let's drag it again. We can actually just replace, import into the same but replace. So this way everything will be re-imported and positions will be adjusted. Cool. So where do we start? Let's name the project. I'm animating it first time, so I also will be doing back and forth sometimes. But the idea is to make these sections flow slowly with duplicating the slot, the attachment, and overlapping them, so we have a nice smooth loop. But they will be flowing just this direction and this direction. We will have this spinning slowly in the perspective, not like this. We will have these portions just coming, flowing and hitting the rock and going back, hitting the rock. Same with this portion. And this would also be the case. We will have at the end this sky moving left or right. Right now we don't have it cut, but we will. And we will have these rocks moving by this direction. I might go and do the spinning like this along this path, but that will create a problem with layering order, because I will need to reorder them every time they go behind that stream. So let's call it stream. Instead, maybe I can just move it this way, as I guess the artist assumed. We have a ribbon here, which I straightened it up so I can make it flow in a wind. We have this spark of energy magic, which has some kind of logic, left, right. But I guess we will replace it with a new art, which will be just electric sparks. I need to make sure that it matches the art the closest possible. But right now, I'm just thinking out loud what's gonna be done. We also have this spark, again, nothing complicated, the same spark. So the idea of this all setup is not just to load this background with a bunch of new sequences that can be done actually in After Effects. I'm going to use 1 or 2 sequences, maybe 3, just and do a lot of reusing of them. So that's the idea of it. Maybe 1 sequence for the spark and 1 sequence for the spinning, for the flow, for these waters. So anything I can reuse. So the idea is to see how we can reuse stuff, and of course move this original art continuously and in a slow way. Okay, so another suggestion would be, you can see that we have a lot of empty space here. If I was doing a real production project, I would maybe go and cut this into 2 pieces and then merge them in the spine, like combine them in the spine. Same would go for this. So we have a lot of empty space. If you are using, let's see, polygons when you pack, I guess they can be put inside, so you won't lose these portions. But otherwise, you will have to cut it in 2 pieces or just waste this empty space. And as I set the scale tag here, you can see the cliff and the background will have scaled down. So the image is smaller that was exported, but in Spine we see that nothing has changed, because you can see that it got back, it resized back exact the same amount as it was reduced down. So we have smaller image, but at the end we see the same, almost the same quality. That will help you to pack nicer atlases. Okay, I'm going to mesh this portion, so I will create a path and move this along that path. I have no idea how to move it otherwise. To make the path, because we have a clear path, it's not like random path, so you could go and animate it with just bones. Right now we have clear fixed path, so we need to create path attachment. I'm going to add a ring or orange line in the middle, so later I will have smaller triangles, and I can smooth the weights in this direction. If you go and make the ring like this and these stripes, you would not be able to smooth the values nicely. Okay, again, I'm not going too much details with this meshing. I'm pretty sure I will come back to it later. I'm very, very sure about it. So right now, I don't want to waste your time doing that. Instead, maybe I will do it later after I close the stream. So again, let's do middle portion. For this, I will leave it for vertices. And what I want to do is let me actually add a bone for it in the middle, I guess. I'm copying the position of the bone. Let me actually enable the hotkey pop-up. I'm copying position of the bone, moving it here. And I will try to straighten the image and make it like circular. You can go ahead and create a guide for that, but I will trust my eye. So we have some cutting here. Yeah, let's assume this is the case. So recenter it, because this is going to rotate inside along that center, across that center. So this way. Now I will put it back. I have a warning to choose world or local axis. We will select the world axis and pass it back. So what you need now is to add another bone that will be scaled. So it should be pretty much in the same place. So let's copy this and paste it here. Now I will put the portal inside that bone and call portal container. So we have this circular portal. I will go and try to match it, scale it to match the perspective. Let's do it actually here so I can see it. I again copied the position so I bring it back easily later. Now I'm scaling it down and trying to match the perspective. It's not gonna be perfect because we only can skew or scale it you can see that it has a real perspective by getting smaller at this edge, but it's not gonna be visible. Okay. So with this setup, we will have nice spinning, but we also will have a problem with this shiny and shadows. So they also will be moved. But let's see how this works. If we see that it is too disturbing, we can go ahead and cut this portion, make it a blurry piece, and just overlay it over this, and it's gonna be looking nice, I guess. So let's try it. Importantly, we need to rotate the inner bone, not the portal container, but the portal. So portal bone is already in deformed local space, so it will be rotating there. Yeah, I can see it doesn't work like good, the lightings, etc. Yeah, maybe we should adjust it later. But anyway, for now I will go. I mean, cutting the lights and separating them, it's not a big deal, so I can do it offline. Right now, let's do a 360-degree rotation. And you can see that basically it's not rotating, which I can explain here because we have straight line, even though we have 0, and at the end we set to 360, it won't get 360, it will jump back to 0 because in a world position 360 degrees is the same as 0. If we want to give a local value for that, so 316 or even more, like higher values, we should set to local axis. Now, if I set to 316, you will see that we have this value changed. And let's see how it rotates. Too fast. Let's move it to 1000 frames. Yeah, let's leave it there. I will also go and scale it a little bit just so we don't have this cut here. It's annoying. I'm scaling it in setup mode because if you scale it here, you will have an extra key. And why not to do it just in setup mode? So yeah, I think this will be fine. Again, those highlights, you can go ahead and cut those highlights and those shadows, and maybe these highlights, or this, I guess it's not gonna be too visible, those shadows, and put it in a separate place, and then just make them be static. I don't want to do it now. It's not gonna be too difficult task. So I want to keep it concentrated with a lot of new information. So maybe I will only animate this, and this one will do offline. Okay. Next, let's see what we have with this stuff. So I'm not going to mesh them, I guess. We don't need them to be meshed. Let's add bones for them. I quickly want to see how I can do the animations. And I don't want to waste time to going meshing the character especially. So let's do transform and scale. So I will be doing, I guess, Actually, let's do it for one, and later I will do it for the other ones. The motion would be pretty much similar. Not this one. Let me create a container for all background, so I can put everything inside it. First we will select the slots to drag it, and then we can go and grab the bones to drag it inside. I don't think we can do the both, right? Let me try it. Maybe we have a... No, we can't drag it. You need to select first one type and then the other type. Okay, now in the background we will add a bone that will contain all those bones. So we have splash left, we have splash medium, and we have splash right. And we will have the main splash, which we can do a shorter bone. And yeah, let's call it splash. So to explain it, I will just move it there, break it along the rocks, and then I guess fall back with an opacity. I have no idea how this to animate at first, so I will have to try it several times. Yeah, I didn't prepare myself. Maybe I should go and animate it beforehand. I just wanted you to see also the struggles. Okay, I'm going to animate this big one, and after I get it done properly, I think I would be ready to move forward with the other ones. So I am going to move it back here and then forward, boom, with scale. And then fall back to the same position. The important thing here is to work with the timing. Don't move forward without fixing the timing. You need to be very sure about it. So the waves will be accelerated, so they are coming fast and then just breaking at some point. So we will work here, I guess. Let's see. So there is one tiny thing that I want to implement. I mean, I guess the timing is fine for now. But one thing I want to implement, because the waves are coming normally, but at some point, let's assume at 20 frame, they hit the rock and that rock makes it to slow down. So let's see if we can implement the slowing down from frame 20. Because right now it slows down from frame 0, I guess. So for that we will need, I guess, I have no idea if I'm doing it properly, but let's assume that 20 frame is in the middle. So this portion where it slows down, it actually should not. I don't want to add more keys here. And let's use the looping system of spine. I use it very rarely. I almost never use it. But here I will use, so you see how it functions. I don't have skills with After Effects. Let me read the chat actually. Hello guys, hello everybody. Your spine is good. Yeah, I think you are talking about the posture. Yeah, I always sit like this. That's okay. So there is one thing I want to show you that I noticed that there is some lagging, like linear movement. This comes from this jagged curve. If we go ahead and focus it, you will see that there is the lines are not curved. So this is normal behavior. This is the reason you maybe you don't notice it now. But I can see here, boom, boom, boom. So for that, you can either go and create another bone, another key here for the translate. And that would smoothen. So the idea is it always, inside one interpolation from one key to the other, it always creates 10 segments. So more keys means more smoother segments. But you create more keys then and the curve is not clear and it's not that easy to manipulate. So it depends how you want to solve it. And the other thing, I might want to go and do some offsetting between the frames. So this will add some deformations. And the next thing, I would go and scale it down because it spreads out when it hits. And let's copy this here. This looks too aggressive, but I have no idea if it at the end will look nice. But at least I see some movement coming ready. Maybe also we can use the rotation. In this stage, I just add extra stuff, so it does look some kind of rich. Otherwise, we are using one image, and I don't want to go and mesh it. Really, we don't need that. If you create meshes, you will have to put bones inside, weights inside, and animate those bones. But if we perfect this, we can easily copy it for other parts, and maybe at the end it will look nice. I can go and create some VFX particles, like 5 or 4 frames for the splash here. And instead I will just leave it without mesh. Let me do the same movement for the other parts. What's this? We have a bug here. I will copy the first frame here, but that did not change anything. Okay, I have no idea where they come from. Cool. Now let's try to offset them a little bit. Actually, I will just offset. Let's see if this works. I want to keep the length. Oh, too much shooting. We're having problems with the curves. No, I think we need a bigger offset here. And also we should always remember that the main action is going to happen here, and those waves are not the important stuff here. And let me actually try changing the blending mode. I always do this because sometimes the overlapping of the colors makes a lot of difference. No, it's too much. Or no. Let's see. Maybe this one I can bring more opacity. Okay, let's fix some other shooting here. I don't like how this shoot. And fix this. Honestly, I really don't know why they start to shoot. I mean, after copying and moving, I guess there is the option how you would go and change the curves when you move the keys around. We have options here: retiming, shape, value. Maybe one of these would avoid that effect. Okay. Now let's try to really offset them. I will turn off the looping. Maybe close all so I can clearly see what's happening here. Actually, before that, let's actually do the fading in and out. So we want everything hidden here. Not like that. We need the setup mode. So for that, I will only activate the color and hit Ctrl-Shift-J. So that will bring the setup pose keys here. So here, when it hits, it's already starting to break the opacity, I guess. Up until the where? Here. Let's see it in action. We will also need to offset this opacity. But let's do it for all timelines, for 1, 2, and 3. When you offset timelines, make sure that there are no filters enabled. Otherwise, you might offset one timeline only. yes, I plan to save the stream to edit it. But at the end, if I fail to teach something valuable in this stream, maybe I will just delete it. Because stream needs to be functional to teach something. Okay, let's open it up and move this back and see. Yeah, we have animation. What we want to do, and since we don't have meshes here inside, we can easily think of duplicating it. And now we select that new created duplicates, and so this portion is when we see the waves. So we need to fill the other portions. So I will just copy, let me delete this actually. I will just copy the animations, except this one. Let me hide it actually. And yeah, let's select it and copy, and I will put it inside a splash animations. So later we can combine. Right now, if I do it in one animation, I will have to duplicate it right from the start, from the beginning. And when I want to edit it, it will be a headache. So I will just make every loop in separate animation and then just combine them. So we have this. As I said, we have this portion. Waves are visible, so we need to fill the other portions. If I add another set of bones, I can go and add 2 sets of bones, like duplicate it 2 times, and for that I will have to offset, like considering that empty portions. So let's go with 1 duplicate. Make sure that you select it inside only this portion, and with Alt Control or this button enabled, you just move them half of the cycle. It would be this one. And let's see it. Okay, I can see something. Maybe for this splash, we can go and flip the images, but make sure that they don't flip like this way, so to keep the direction. So idea is to have them a little bit differently. Maybe you just go and change them in between, like this way. That would be look more nicer. Okay, so let's actually do that. I will come here and move this. You know what? Let me first try with this way. I mean, you can go even convert it to mesh. I mean, 4 points, it's not a big deal. Just to deform it, make sure that, remember that this is the origin of the bone. If you move it to other way, the animation will change actually, and it will look differently. So, and let's also flip this guy, make it a mesh, and so I am only doing this transforms, deforms for the second duplicate. The first one is as original. And we also can do the middle one, right? I think for this one we will just duplicate it, flip it. Let's see. Oh, we need to turn it up. So we had a little bit variation here. I will go and disable the blending mode so I can see and compare once again how it was without blending. Not looking too bad. Okay. So I clearly see how we can improve this. Let's bring it back to additive. So how we can improve this is to, for each bone, if we want to make it a mesh, for each bone, for each section, we mesh it up here, add another bone here, add another bone here, and scale it when it hits the rock. So you will see the top portion just breaking and spreading in two parts. That will add some movements. That is totally doable, and it doesn't need too detailed mesh. So let's assume we can go ahead. Let me isolate it and just create some mesh here. And yeah, I think this would be enough. Yeah, so we would add another bone here and actually bind. I'm doing it as just so you can see. Would bind it here. Okay, that was unexpected. So I will bind it here, everything. And the moment when it hits, boom, I will here just fix the scale and spread it. Maybe only one direction. And keep it actually spread, maybe. Reward notifications. I just muted my phone. So now we need to wait to adjust the weights. And you can see that each splashes. We can go ahead and even animate it, like move it down, up here. So it goes up. It goes up and then breaks down, maybe more falling. So if you add this effect to the other parts, I think something will come up nicely looking. Again, this portion should not be too much noticeable. So maybe I will dial it down, maybe transparency, maybe the size overall. So let's try to do it now. Let me actually export also this one. I set it to ignore, but now I see I might need it. So to add more stuff into the same project, you can either go and only show this image, and when export, select this. Or when you, let's assume we did this way and we imported it, doesn't matter if you ignore or replace it. Anyway, there is no that image, so it will be added properly. Just make sure to add it inside the same skeleton. But let's assume we did export everything and we just need this one to be imported. For that, I will go export it now. Read some chats. Nothing to read. We have 27 people watching now, 28. taking time. I guess images are big. Okay, so we have their JSON. So when you import it, where is our file? When you import it, you need to select import into existing skeleton, select the skeleton, and here if you hit replace, all images will be placed exactly as was in Photoshop and meshes will be discarded. So you need to hit ignore. So the images that are already there will be ignored because we know that we didn't have that the frame previously. So ignoring only will import that one. And we have it. Just make sure to set export and uncheck it. And maybe we don't need to touch it actually. Okay, so this will help me to see how the waves look. So that would be the waves. They maybe look too bluish for me, but I'm terrible at correcting colors, so I will leave it this way. Maybe I will move it to the left. We see some empty space here. Let's move one and the other one not too much. No, they both need to be moved. Yeah, I think this might look okay. This is something that I am doing fast, quick, so I don't want to spend all stream time just working on this part. Now I will move here. So as I said, I have this ring inside in the middle of the stream. It will help me to smoothen weights along this path. So sometimes, and pretty much a lot of times, people ask what is the difference between this orange. They help you to to grab them easily. So you can grab the parts, you can select them, and you can even with holding shift, I guess, when you create them, you can create straight lines. So this is helpful if you do some kind of logical meshing. And then it also helps you to select them with shift held. It will select the whole ring up until the intersection. So if we had here an intersection, 3 or more intersections, 2 or more, no, 3 or more, or 2 or more. Anyway, you get the idea. So when I hit it, it will stop here. This is pretty much working the same as in 3D softwares. You have the ring loop ring, I don't know how it's called. So you can hold Control and Shift to add another selection similarly. Yeah, so the same works for the edges, by the way. Okay, now also this helps when you do the binding. It will help you to smoothen weights along this path because smoothening weights travels along the edges and along the orange lines. And yeah, otherwise, I mean, you also can enforce some triangles with those orange lines. So you can see we have this triangle, and I can actually, without adding any vertices, I can enforce the cutting this to be this way. Okay, now let's do I'm scared to move with this stream, but I know that I have to do it because it's really gonna be first or difficult or super easy. But let's just do it. So I would go, if I have like some kind of random path, I would maybe add bones and just animate those bones. But we have strict line, we have the art that moves this way. So I will need the help of the paths. I'm going to animate only one and stream right. I called it already flow, but now I'm changing the naming. Let's keep the naming same. Where is our path? I lost it. Anyway, I think I need to create it again. So I'm creating a path and naming it flow right. We have already that. Okay, it is conflicting with the slot name, so it's gonna create a new slot. Even though it's a different type of attachment, it will conflict with the same slot name. So you have to be a little bit more creative. So for that, we will name it flow R and path. Yeah, I think I need to just create it so it doesn't get lost. Let's do it again. And right now we entered edit path mode, so we can just create our path. 2 points, nothing complicated. Always you can add another point. Having a path and setting up all along this path. Later maybe we can animate this path so it does actually rotate in this vortex. It's gonna look great if only we succeed to make it. I can see that it's not that easy to match this path exactly, but I will go with this one for now. Okay, so next we need to create bones. Those bones will be flowing along this path and then resetting and flowing again, resetting and flowing again. So we will be doing continuous flow with 2 meshes, one over the other, maybe 3. I have no idea. But the idea is they move this way. They won't be spinning right now. Maybe I will add that spin with the other sequence. I have no idea. Let's go by small steps right now. And of course, keeping project organized, I will put this and this inside one bone and call it what? Flow R. Let's also enable name so we clearly see that flow R, because name is already off the screen, so it's not conflicting with the visual and it's easy to grab. Boom. Okay, now select the flow R and just add a bunch of bones. It doesn't matter the length or anything. I'm going to just put some bones here. Select them. It again doesn't matter if they are parented to each other or just inside this big bone. Anyway, they will be constrained to the path. I'm not binding it to the mesh yet, because if I bind it, things will go weird when we move them, align them. So first align them across the path, set the path parameters as you like, and then just do the stuff, do the binding. So where are our bones? Every bone is here. They are at 0 position because they don't have length, and they just can't go one after the other. They don't have length. It's 0. Just to prove the point, I will go and add, I reverted the changes, and I will go add some length to it. And when we do the path constraint, you can see they align one along the other, which we clearly don't want right now. And maybe it's also a way, but I will just stick the way I used to do. So select it, add path constraint, and now let's see what we do here. We don't need rotation, I guess, or maybe we do. No, let's leave it. We need to change this value, spacing, because right now it's considered the length. We need to be it fixed. We also don't need proportional because it also considers the length of the bones. We can go with percent, doesn't matter, fixed or percent. I guess percent is better. So you move them 16% from the path over length. So now if I move the path, stretch it, you can see that bone spacing will go across. If I had them with length, it would not stretch. The bones would remain here just as a snake has its fixed length. Whatever you do with the path, bones would remain there. But now I have this stream, the flow, just stretching. Well, of course, after I bind it. Okay, now we have our bones. We just double check them. They are at correct positions. And now we just bind it to the bones. You can go and bind it here. Now that I was talking about the smoothness, if I didn't have this middle ring or line, if I hit the smoothing would go across these edges. And those 2 points would not be smoothened. Let's test it by deleting it and just hitting smooth. You will see that those vertices will blend, will diffuse together, but those two will remain intact. I mean, this value would come here. Let me actually delete also this one so we see clearly. So these two vertices don't have any connection with the other. So if I hit, smooth, these two values should remain exactly as they are, while the other ones travel and smooth each other. Those two will remain this way. So you might not notice this when you hit smooth, because you will see they get smoother, and you would assume, hey, it's smoother, but something is not there, and you won't be able to fix it if you don't know this. So better always to keep these orange lines along the way you will be building the rig and smoothing, if you are going to smoothen them, of course. And if you work with, if you assume some 3D movements, you might also go and do that that way. So always think about where you put the vertices. Don't overcreate them. Think how you will use them. Okay, now we can go and hit smooth. Don't over click it, because more you click, less it will affect. So you can see 1 click, a lot of weights changed, 2 clicks, 3 clicks, and after sometimes whatever you do, it's very slight changes, and you will add more and more tiny values to that, and that will increase the vertex transforms here, which is equivalent to adding new vertices, which is going to add some memory consumptions and calculations on CPU. Yes, this is going to be looping animation. That's the whole challenge of it, I guess. Okay, so let's smooth it once. It's not going to do the wiping animation, so it's basically going to flow. So maybe we don't even need to smooth it. Okay, now let me try this. Let me actually go and move it. This is looking great. By the way, you can come here and grab this point to move it smoothly. And if you want to grab the vertex of the mesh, like for example, we have it here, this one, and you can move the path. But this one, you can see that it's not that easy to grab. When you select the path, you want to grab it, but this controller will do it. Hold Control and hit it. It always prioritizes the vertex. Small tips along the video. Okay, now let's do it. Let's create another animation, call it flow I will call it just flow because both flows will be inside this, I guess. And find that constraint. Remember, constraint is different from path attachment. Path attachment is just a mesh. It behaves like a mesh, but it doesn't have anything to render. So path attachment needs to be constrained to path constraint. When you hit new, you will see both of them here. Path. Sorry, you need to select another bone. Path constraint and path attachment. So for creating constraint, you need path attachment. Create some useless tips also along the way. And what we were doing, yeah, we were animating. Okay, so let's hit the spacing, no, position. I will move it back a little bit, a very tiny bit like this, and move it the other way, and not this one, but this one. So here we will drop, I guess, it. I'm going to make it consistent. I don't want to smoothen it out. Oh, it's terrible. And when you animate, you need to consider my back is great. You need to consider the overall loops section. So if you are working in 200 loops, better if your all small animations be 100, 200, 400, or if you work in like 300, 600, 900. So that will make things easy for you later to combine them. So you know if at the end you just copy pasting, because in 900 you won't be able to just duplicate 400 loops. I'm talking about combining later these animations, because right now I could go and create like 180, but that would be difficult later to duplicate. Okay, so I see I missed some like spinning, twirling movements here. I will think about it, how I can do it later, because I see it in original design and I really want to do it. And my face looks bigger here. Let me reduce my size here so you see it. Okay. It should be smaller now. Okay, we have this flow, and at the end we will fade it out. Boom. Boom. Nice. 20 frames, maybe it's too much. 10 frames would be pretty much enough. No, better if we go with 20. And how it disappears beautifully. And let's actually duplicate this slot. Copy also the animation keys, and this new mesh will be bound to the same bones exactly the same way, so we can go and overlap it, so they appear and move the same way. We need to make it loop, so it's delicate moment to understand how to do it now. Okay, I think I need also to copy. Yeah, I need also to create another path and with constraints. So I don't only need to copy the slot, but I need to copy the whole rig. which is unfortunate because we will copy the constraint, the bones. I want to see if we can do some trick. Well, I will think about that trick while I do the actual copying. So for that, let's put things inside. Yeah, we have this. But for that, I will create another bone. Let's call flow R1. Oh, we had that one. No, we didn't have that. Count 1. So let's go this way so we don't confuse. I will select the bones, I will select the slots, and yeah, great. We have all inside that one. So this I created so I can duplicate it now with all the constraints, etc. I hope constraints also will be duplicated, which did not. Let me see. I really don't remember if they get duplicated or no. Let's see. No, they are not getting duplicated. So for that, we will just go ahead and create another constraint. Path constraint, but I will select the other path, this one. Yeah. And this should have the same settings. Percent. Everything else looking the same, I guess. And things doesn't look great. Why? We have some ordering issue here, which we will be solving in seconds. I'm moving this copying position and moving it here so I can see them. So this one, we start from 4. Okay, we have chaos here. 2. So we need this to go this way. Which one is this? 10 to go at the beginning. Which one? 9. Okay, let's see if we can do it. We move 10 up. So for that, I'm dragging here it and moving it. No, things break. I'm going to do some random shit. Sorry. Percent. Let me create that again. So I hate when I spend time on stuff like this. So I'm selecting them one by one by order that I want to see. Maybe this will help. And it did help. Fantastic. Okay. Now I passed it the coordinates. And yeah, we have 2. Now we need to animate also the second part the similar way. So we have this one. It starts from -5, let's assume, and I guess it ends at 10. Same would go for this one. 10 and starts from -5. Okay. We have them both moving. But now what I want to do is to offset it. Let's see. Now if I try to offset it, it will throw some error. So instead, I need to find a way to do it. So basically what I want to do is to move it here. I guess here. Cut it here. I'm pretty sure it's not gonna work. But now let's bring it back and do it manually. So what we want to do is maybe add another key here to make it loopable. This will be broken key, so we break the interpolation here so it snaps right back. Anyway, it's almost transparent there, so we cannot even go here and move it like this. We should also do the same for this path. So moving one back, copying this and putting it here. So again, we have both working same way. Now what I need to do to select the second path and add an offset, I guess. Let's see. Okay, let's do it with and see. We should see something. It's horrible. It changes back. Sorry for wasting your time. Hello, Zakharov. Well, basically we did loop it, but I don't like the result. I'm going to change the color of the second flow so I can see which one is showing up. So we see the second one, the first one, sorry, and then we see the other one over it, and then the first one disappears and jumps back, which is great, and then we see it appear again, which is also cool. You're welcome. And then we see again appearing. So most of the time we see two of them at the same time. Maybe this will solve that quick transition. Yeah, I think it flows now. Yeah, it took me a while to figure out how to do it. Yeah, I think I will save this stream. So we have the flow moving. Next we could go at the bones and the rocks. I will think a way of spinning this across its own axis. But for now, I need to move on with the rocks so you see more concentrated information here and not just me struggling with one or two tricks. Okay, so what I want to do is actually, I want to build okay, let's try it. So I will be constructing a bone that will travel, constructing a bone that will travel along the path, which we can see here. And that bone will have other bones like the rocks, etc. I mean the rocks, sorry, not etc., only rocks, spinning across this. But it's not gonna spin 360 frames. I don't want to deal with the ordering stuff. It's tedious and it's a waste of a lot of time. But we will spin a little bit just to make sure that flow rotates. Yeah, but for farmland it was pretty much easy. I was just moving the bones without pattern, etc. This is difficult a little bit because I will also be moving the stones, the rocks, and I did want to introduce a new technique with this path. And I am Armenian originally. I just moved to Spain recently. Okay, so now we have a rock. Let's name it rock cont 1. So this I will place it here, or maybe just even here, it doesn't matter. And then, or maybe here. And then I will add these bones, rocks here. So where is our rock? Here. I will change the color to black. And now I will just add another bone inside this. This will be our rotator. I don't know how to call it. Rotator 1 or rock 1. Terrible naming. I have no idea how I am going to loop the rocks, really. So let's copy it, positions. I copied. So we have two bones, one nested in the other one. And now I can just hit select the one rock and put inside a new bone. So again, this is the similar technique as we did here. We have one bone that scales and transforms, and the other bone that that should rotate. No, this one. That does rotate in that skewed frame of reference. Okay, now I will go and so this is the way how it will rotate. And I will turn off the scale, and rotation would be cool. I can go ahead and scale it a little bit, and then once it gets closer, I will bring it down the scale. So okay, now let's move it. The only difficult part will be with the colors, because right here it is bluish, maybe here it goes some yellow, brown, so we will have problems with that, but I'm not going to solve it. I guess it's rather artistic stuff than animators. I mean, it's easy to solve, just add another image and overlap, but let's not cover it in this. Okay, so we have bone. This will travel along here, and at the end it will just fade out. Let's try it. I will create another animation. Rocks. Let's put it inside the same flow. We have 200 frames. I think it's pretty much enough. Yeah, and let's create a constraint. I will select this bone, and it doesn't matter where I put it, even if I put it here. The moment I create a constraint, it will move it here. So I will just move it here so we associate it with that path constraint. Selecting the path, flow path are rock 1, and let's see. Position, and at the end we have a low. This is not expected, clearly. Okay, I will see if that is still visible when we add rotation animation, which for that we will have to switch to local frame of reference, and just, oh, not this one, sorry, but this one. And let's do this kind of rotation. I clearly don't like it. I mean, I can see it spins, but then I have to fade it out. Let's actually do it. And here I will fade it out. I think it's too quick. It should not rotate that fast. Let's try again. Okay, let's assume we are good with this. Now we need to dial down the orbit of that rock. it starts big like this and then goes smaller and smaller at the end. Let's see our curve. I think I will also go ahead and bring back those so I see also the rocks getting smaller at the end. Not this much smaller, I guess. It's almost disappeared. Maybe it's fine. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's fine. I can clearly see that here we have this rock too attractive, too visible. I mean, it would go and disappear almost there. It's so high in the air. So we have that spinning motion, and we also avoided to moving it back to the back of the stream. And now we just, I guess, need to add more bones, rocks here. And I am not going to add constraints for each bone. Maybe I will just move these bones here. I have no idea if this will work. And one more. It needs one more. And this is a good contrast. Cool. Too big. Now let's see what we have. And maybe this would be the right way. It's not realistic. It's not super. I mean, this one would be behind the stream, the flow. And we should not have easing here. I think that's disturbing our animation. Didn't change much. I mean, after this 120 frames, everything looks not cool, because we also rotate the bone while the path is moving. So we need to disable that link. We don't need the bone to rotate itself. It's good that I noticed it. I hope that's the problem. That was the problem. So I'm dialing down the rotation, and now while it moves, it won't be rotating by itself. So now we should see everything rotating consistently. And let me see this way actually. I am looking at, let me hide myself so you see the outline. I'm enjoying outline view, but you enjoying my face. So it's not fair. I don't like how they go, and they should go behind the stream again, but I don't want to deal with the ordering, at least not now. Maybe at the end I will do it, but for now I will leave these rocks as they are right now, but also add another set. Maybe try to add some more richness. Let's see. So we did construct this hierarchy to make that rotation in perspective. So right now what they do, they just rotate in a circular way. If we go and add that Okay, now I see why I was disabling it. I will again disable them. So what we have? We have rotation a little bit more in perspective, and then we can go ahead and what is this? Oh, okay, it's fade out. And then we just here it's almost they need to be very small, and here just disappear, I guess. Yeah. So let's see the curves of the scale. Yeah, they are pretty much okay. Okay, maybe I can add a little bit more richness by just scaling, changing the perspective by one axis, so I stretch it this way. It should add some randomness, not this way, but here when it stretches up there, just something very random. I want to do it before I actually go and duplicate this set. It's too random, too chaotic. Oops. Okay, let's assume we are happy with this. We go and duplicate it. We need to add another constraint because constraints, as we see, do not duplicate. Path constraint. We use the same path, and here we will write rock 2. Again, we don't need rotation, and everything else is pretty much fine. And as with the previous one, we am reducing and moving left one frame, breaking the interpolation, so I have a loop. And same would be for this guy. And hey, we don't need that. It's actually 0 and 100. Yeah. No, I think for offsetting we still need that. Cool. So we have 2 sets of rocks. I guess they are moving 2 sets, right? Okay. So they are moving, and I need to offset them. And with them, I also need to offset the opacity. So I will select everything inside that. I will also select this constraint, and maybe now I will just move it. I should not be able to move it, obvious reasons. Let me move it one frame back, copy this, select this frame, and break everything. Now I should be able to offset it. Okay, so we are moving here and we broke something. things looks great. Now I don't need this one when I offset it. I think it won't even be offsetted. Yeah, no, it's not being offsetted. But what if I offset this white? Yeah, it will be offsetted. So I don't need it to be offsetted. I have no idea how to not offset it. It's inside our container. So let's see with our R container. Flow R container. Okay. I think we created two paths. We could use one path. I just realized it. I have no idea how to remove it easily, but this path should be outside. This is very bad that I teach stuff like that, but I will go and remake it. So I duplicated it with the path, hoping that I won't be creating the constraint, but at the end I end up creating it. So why not just go and create again using the same slot? And what was the name of it? Path 2. Very creative. Okay, so let me grab the bones by their order to not do the same mistake. So this one, then this one, and create. Now set to % and copy the number from here. And now we need to animate it. It's going to be the same way animated with the previous one. Let's see if things work. Okay, now we have one path and a lot of bones constrained to it. It's good that you see the issue and that I found it and fixed it. I hope I will find more issues. Now back to the rock. So we have second container of the rocks. I should make sure that it is constrained to the same bone, same path. So we are looking at these two path constraints. One should be offsetted. And I will do the same for these ones, like half of the cycle. Let's see. Oh, we have a very not looking great results. I have no idea why. Okay, so let's try to do the same. I mean, offset this one. I will fix the scale manually. Okay, we have some rocks. Maybe I will go and add some tiny ones here, but I'm not going to add path constraints. I think we have a lot of them. Instead, I will just select whatever we left. I'm just showing the way that it's not necessary when you go with one way to complete it or everything in that way. As long as you give the movement, give the impression that it moves along the path, you can add everything else, just like faking things. So I will go and disable rotation and scale here. Set it to black. Hello. Cool. And move it back and see. see where I do have empty spaces. So this portion is a little bit empty, so I might need it here. And then it goes here, maybe it disappears. I have no idea if this will work or not, but I want to go with a cheap way now. Let's assume they disappear in the flow. Or maybe we can try to manipulate them and make them continue as they are flowing across the path. Maybe you don't need the path at all. So let's see how this works. So I will go and separate the timeline for the translate. So I make them, I have more control. So I want the y-axis to be consistent. So it moves up consistently. And x1 would be, it starts fast and then goes back. I think I should go, I had to go with this approach and not use path constraints. Anyway, at least you know how to do it now with both ways. Okay, now let me hide the other ones and see how those perform. Let's see it again. We see the rocks and they pretty much flow. They are great. So with this approach, we just don't have the mesh, the path. Yeah, so this way it's pretty much cheap and we can even go and duplicate this. But right now I think it does look okay. Let's see all at once. One thing I noticed that they take too much attention right now, which I will be dialing down maybe later. Okay. So we have our flow, we have our splash, we have our spinning animation. I think we are ready to introduce the sequence, so we can see how this actually looks together. I mean, it's good for the base foundation, but we need to see the sequence. I'm thinking of enriching both this spinning and this flow animation, and maybe as well as this. So I have already thought about a few sequences. Yeah, this one and this one. Yeah, let's see them in action. So 1 and 2. Obviously, first thing I would go and convert them to additive blending, because it's easy for me to cover some mistakes. Next, I will convert them to sequence, both of them. Let's start from 1 first. Convert it to sequence. Remove the index from the name, so we will add it in the sequence. And how many frames we had here? Oh, so many frames, 60. It's too much. You can cut it down twice. But 60 frames is really a lot. And now we need to animate it. I will create an animation and name it flow surface sequence. Flow surface. Let's call it this way. And what else we do here? We just need to hit the sequence key, and it's great. We have 60 frames. Let's see it in action. We need to change the FPS. Oh, not 60, sorry. 30 is default FPS of Spine Editor. So we will see a smooth 1 image per frame. So you would say what we will do with this, how this will be used on the flows. One thing I can say that I really know that with similar sequences you can do a lot of stuff, so I'm pretty much confident that I can find something for both of them. If not, I will just leave it here. So for now I will go and convert it into the mesh. I will generate some meshes, vertices. I will go more because I'm going to deform it much but let's leave it here. Cool. So what we gonna do? I am going also to duplicate another, but let's start from this flow. For that, I will change the flow surface. We have this animation. I will move it here, put this into that flow R animation. And I guess I will also bind it to the bone. So whenever we want to move this, it also moves the way the rock moves. Oh, it can't. We also already animated manually the rock, one of them. So whenever we move it, they won't follow. If you want them to follow, just do as we did with initial rocks. But right now, let's not concentrate on that. We anyway are not going to move them. So what we do? Let's take this soft selection and play with it. Let's find some shape that we are happy with. I have no idea what I'm doing now, but I'm pretty sure I will end up with something. Something. No different way. Let's reverse it. Once reverse, loop reverse. Okay, we could go and do more vertices, I guess. I'm going fast here, but you can go and only add vertices where you see that they bend. I mean, a lot of vertices you don't need here, so I don't go to optimize them. Oh my god, it's looking great. I need to start matching it. So we can see that we need more vertices here. Let me try to find something here. Need more stuff. Sorry about this unorganized meshing. I just don't want to spend time to do it properly here. But I would make sure that this portion is very smoothly done and the other portion is not. Maybe I will at the end do it for this section. I don't think that I can do similar approach with this. Okay, so we have more points here. You can see that pretty much any circular similar sequence would do the trick. And we need some smoothness here. Okay, let's move it back. Loop reverse, and what we have here. Now it's too attractive. We almost lost everything what we did. So we need to dial it back. And make sure we don't have those ugly triangles. I'm not sure about this. Let's combine it with the flow itself. No, it would totally lose the original art. I clearly don't like this. I mean, we get the idea something is flowing up. But the original art is clearly lost. Okay, I start to see some parts of art. Maybe I need to like convert it to the core of the action. So we see the edges of original art, but at the same time we see the core. And yeah, we see something flowing. I will convert it back to normal, and yeah, this looks much better. Not this. There is definitely some issue with the... I don't want to spend time again. But if you have time, you could go here and not here, but initially create a better mesh to be able to work better. Back to additive. It's too hard. I'm always struggling with the artistic stuff here. I mean, I can explain some stuff that I don't like, but I don't have real opinion how to make it better. But this is not for artistic tutorial, not it is for techniques in spine and reading chats. Software is, no, it's not Blender, it is Spine. This software is made for animating assets for the games in optimal way and quick. Yeah, I will leave it this way, I guess. Let's do another one, and let me actually try to change the sequence. So we have 1 to 60. Let's do the other. So 1 to 19 or 29, 19. And yeah, let's change the name to Magic. Magic. Some flickering. Yeah, I can see that both can be combined together. Maybe this one can be a little bit bigger. But right now, let's go with this. And do the central, the portal. And I think I can go and duplicate this one. Yeah. And reset it. But this time, yeah, I think I will just do as I said I would. So less vertices up here. More vertices here. Again, you could go and do a lot of optimizations here. It really depends what are you working on. I'm checking where can I improve it. Good. I will bring back the color and transparency. And now I am trying to, I will put it actually inside this I need it to be spinning, of course. So this is, I'm looking at preview window. This is our magic happening. And let's reduce this to 0, I guess. Turn on smooth selection, rotate it. No, rotate it this way. No, I will move it out from this container. Oops. And maybe add another ring here. Where? I think here. I'm going to spin it. The more vertices we have this section, better it will be when we spin it. I want to create a galaxy-like look. Okay. Now we can go ahead and fix some sharp edges. Something is not looking great. What I created here should be also rotating slowly with the bone. So I will be placing it inside the same bone. Let's leave it this way. With some sharp edges, I can see it. Anyway, leaving it this way, just bring it back to this container, which is going to spin slowly, but it's not. Why? Yeah, because we didn't select that animation. So now it will spin, but of course it's gonna orbit now. We need to bring it here. And why not to match it with the perspective? Well, I hope I can do it. We need to match also the direction of rotation. And maybe do some just pushing here and there. The idea is not to make it perfect in perspective, but to show you how you can do it. And make it bigger, stronger. In the center, of course. And behind the... let's see if that will work. I still have some broken parts. Okay, so we fix this and there. I hate it's broken. I really hate it. So this, let me do the same, but with bunch of vertices. Let's see if that will fix the problem. Generate, no, reset, generate. I'm going to do a lot of them. I mean, you can take your time and actually do that smoothing manually, but right now I don't want to spend time, so I will generate. This is not good, so don't take this as an advice. So we will bring back, squeeze everything in the center, I guess, or maybe no, we need that, and make it larger so we can spin it. Where is it? Here. Yeah, this is much more. Maybe not this part. Much more smoother. Okay, now let's see. Let's try to reduce the effect, make it smaller. Just want to make sure that this is also, yeah, this is also spinning, so. I'm combining all of them to see. Okay. Maybe we will also mesh background to make this mirror or whatever it is float in the air. Just tiny bit. Background, and mirror. I will also enable it, and now bind only those 4 points to mirror. We will also need to create a safe ring across this one, so it doesn't break, doesn't distort over background. Cool. Just don't forget to give the weight here fully to background. Now we should have, no, we did it not correctly. Okay, here's okay, now it floats. So we can put this spinning stuff inside it, or we can just spin the mirror. It depends what you want to achieve. If there is some space behind that mirror and it is too far from the mirror, it should be not included in this bone. So we see that there is some parallel universe. But if you are, it's just a mirror and a reflection, so things happen on the surface, you can include that. We will be using rotation, scale, everything. And we will be doing it inside this. I will separate scale, translate, and shear. Why not? Just to make things very random. So this mirror should float now. I'm almost finishing the stream. We'll just patch a few things up. So if you have questions, feel free to post it now. I can answer. I'm just testing, checking. Maybe this could go and be an additive with the other one, of course. Not too much noise. Well, it can work, but we definitely destroyed the original art. One thing we can do, if we have everything set up with these paths, we can add bones here and here. Bind this to those bones and sway the path along it. So this will be in the flow animation. I think it's too short for that. I will put that into the just animation. It has 1000 frames span. In this moment, I start to look easy ways to make very big impact on the animation. So because I already made the project pretty big and heavy to manage, so I need to make small adjustments as I'm doing it right now. So easy stuff, but big impact. You can see that inside the core doesn't change because it's not bound to the bones, but we can do it easily. And even rocks would continue flowing this way, except the last set. And for using same sequence, I think I can make this something on this side. So I will try very quickly. Maybe I will not animate it, but try to see if something comes up. And duplicating it, moving outside. Let's reset it. Edit the mesh, reset here again, generate. Maybe not too much. And see what we have. So things flow inside, we need to make it otherwise. And we will do it in the splash animation. Loop reverse. Okay. Things go outside, just loop. We see electric sparks, we don't need them actually. So one thing we can do to avoid them, just to boom. Let me add more vertices here. I'm trying to do more bending. Oops. So I want to get rid of this center portion. Yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to do. And now let's grab this part and stretch it. Maybe this. And hey, interesting stuff. As I say, those sequences always make me surprised. So we can duplicate it. I wanted to achieve one thing, but instead I got another thing. Which will be an ugly sphere. I'm just hurrying right now, so I can close this stream. But I think we could go and make it nice sphere later. Just testing some stuff. Yeah, we can add this to our portal. Just interesting. We don't spend resources on sequence. Maybe we can just add it here. And put it here. It's already inheriting the where is it? Too much noise. What if we move it? Right here. Nope. I will leave it here. I don't need it now. But instead I will continue looking for an option for this water splash. So let's reduce this. Where is it? Oh. Okay, reducing this. Moving down, I guess. Let's see what we have. Nope. I don't like the lines. It should be more chaotic, unorganized. I really want to reuse this also here, but it's not happening. Maybe I can leave it just transparent. Maybe. Anyway, I am from Armenia, but I live now in Spain. I will be closing the stream. It was too much time. Thank you for watching. I think I will be continuing streaming again. I will see after this video analytics if you see it, liked it or no. Okay, so that would be it. Thank you very much. Bye bye, guys. Subscribe. I will be posting a new poll very soon to see if you want to see the continuation of this.